This is our 4th episode of Science Dates. Today's participants are Sheeling Neo, who is PhD candidate at Utrecht University, and Amandine Lerusse, assistant professor at Leiden University.
Okay, question 1. What is the most common misconception about the research you do?
Okay. I think it's at the start of my PhD, together with my supervisor, we were thinking about what kind of public services I should examine or look at. And then we decided that it would be better to look at a technical service, so waste collection. And then people tend to think that I was doing research on waste collection and not on my real research, which is more like the role of ideology in government contracting. So in my project, I was known more as the waste collection girl rather than the researcher doing research on behavioral public administration. And also among my family members, I also became the waste collection person. So anytime they had a question about waste collection, they will ask me, so where should I sort this or that? And I had no clue. So I really had to, explain a lot what I was doing. So I think that's the most common misconception about my work, I would say.
Did you end up doing research on waste collection?
Yes, of course. But it was just a case study more than me knowing everything about waste collection.
Yeah.
So
now, like, what other
I also
utilities?
did road maintenance. So but there people don't ask me how roads are because in Belgium they are all really bad. So I don't really get a lot of questions about that. It was really more about waste and how waste is organized. How should I sort my waste? But I mean, I'm still trying to understand how to sort my waste in the Netherlands. So I'm not going to advise anyone on that. So I think that's what I had in mind. What about you?
So I study stereotypes of public sector worker a lot. The most common reactions, I don't know if I can call that misconception actually. A lot of reactions that I get when I say, hey, I study stereotypes of public sector worker is, oh, what's there to study? You don't have to do it. I can tell you all that you need to know. Governments are not great. So so that's the general feedback that I get.
So do you have to explain the relevance of your research to...
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people start with the idea that everything that has to do with government is not great. At least and I think in the Netherlands at least, people also have really strong preconceived notions about what public sector workers are. And results, well, it shows that, they are not all bad. So so I think that is I guess that is a misconception. Hey.
Yeah. But did you receive this feedback from people because you are analyzing different countries, right? And did you receive the same feedback from these different people from different countries, or was it more in the Netherlands or in another country that was more prominent?
I've just casually talked about what I do at work with people in the US and people here in the Netherlands, but usually that's the reaction that I get.
Ta-da.
Second question.
So because public administration derives many insights from other scientific disciplines, public administration is not a scientific discipline in its own right. What do you think about that?
That's a very strong statement.
Yes, right?
Yeah. I'm not so sure what I think about it. So I came from a background it's not public administration. I came from a background in psychology. So when I started my PhD, I was very confused with the term public administration. There were a lot of terms floating around. Public administration, what other stuff are there? Public policy, public management. And then I'm like, what is public management? Is this kind of like business management, but then with public organizations? So I think I spent a good few months, well, actually, I'm still doing it, like trying to figure out what public administration really is.
But I think you're not the only one, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure because, yeah, I'm in this for, 3 years now, and I do see a lot of parallels between like public administration and other fields. Like, is it political science? It's like a cross between political science and then like kind of like business management, but also then there's like psychology people doing psychology stuff in there. And then there's also organizational science stuff. So is public administration just like a pie where they took from all the other pies and be like, here's a new pie?
Yeah, actually this question or statement was the last question I got during my PhD defense. And I had to answer this question, and then I had only like 10 seconds to... Yeah, that was really the final question. I really had 10 seconds to think about it. And then we had a lot of conversations during my PhD trajectory about this. Yeah. And I think I came to my own conclusion that I guess it's an interdisciplinary field where you pick up some insights from economics, psychology, law, political science, but that you research something very specific. So it makes it its own field in itself, right? At least to me, just borrowing insights from different disciplines, but in its own field in itself, right? Because to me, you also have theories that were developed within public administration, such as, bonded rationality, so by borrowing insights from other disciplines too. That's why to me it's more interdisciplinary field, but a field in its own right, for sure.
But what if the product of the thing that you're researching about changes? So if the public service is no longer a public service, it's now privatized, then can I then call your work, relabel your work as a private administration, business administrative science?
I guess it depends, again, the angle you look at. If you compare like public to private delivery, and there is a public administration focus in there, if you do some government contracting research, then I guess it remains within public administration. But if you do research on private enterprises and how they deliver goods to citizens, which is different from delivering public services, then I would say then it becomes business management or something.
Yeah. To call something a discipline of its own, I think that it is to believe that there is something that is essentially very different about the nature of the thing or the nature of the process. So to me, it's kind of like, well, it's a little hard for me to think what part of it is an essence of public administration that cannot be replaced by something else. Okay, final statement. It is easier for men than women to climb up the academic ladder. What do you think?
I think it depends a lot on your own environment too. Whether, someone is going to support you at home to do it or not. Whether you have support from your supervisor or not. What is the context of the university you are in?
I don't think at least till now, I have not felt like I wasn't taken seriously because I'm a woman, but I do foresee these more gender-specific challenges down the road.
I don't know, in the field of public administration, I have the feeling that, male scholars, male professors, they tend to be very attentive to these kind of things. At least the male professors I have met, they always try to put the spotlight on women too. Yeah. Which I think is a very good thing. But I don't know if it's just because of the persons I have met so far that were like that, or whether this is a general thing within public administration.
I don't think I've really actively thought about my female identity at work. I think the only time it has popped up was when I was preparing my teaching materials. So I decided that for every reading that I'm going to use in my class, I'm going to put up a picture of who wrote these papers, and they are very overwhelmingly male. Yes. So I guess in that sense, I can see how yeah, this is a field that had been historically like predominantly male.
Do you think that the generation above us would have responded in the same way?
Yeah, I don't know. In the context of the Netherlands, I don't have a lot of ideas on what earlier generation female Dutch academics.
Yeah, I don't know how they feel about it, but at least my feeling is that things evolve very quickly, and we pay attention to things to which we didn't pay attention in the past.
Yeah.
And I think we are going into the bright light or a positive direction.
Yeah.
But that might just be my impression, and maybe other female scholars do not feel the same about it. And maybe previous generation do not feel the same about it at all. Because these are questions we start asking ourselves right now. But I don't know the questions were there, but were they raised before? I don't know.
Yeah, because we do have these things, like you said, these policies have changed, there are a lot more support for us if we do want to have a family or whatever. But back in the days, they probably don't, hey.
They are superheroes, I guess.
Are they stronger than we are?
At least I think we can thank them for what they have done for us. And I hope the next generation is going to thank us for what we'll do for them.
Thank you for watching the 4th episode. Next up is the final episode of this series. Stay tuned.